So the objective here is really to teach the simple concepts of footwork and timing and how you work in a situation where you have someone that you can't establish contact with. How can you cross that distance? How can you get in? How do you control the space to get in? If there's too much of a distance between myself and the person that's attacking me, it's potentially difficult for me to rush in and chase without actually getting punched on the way in. So how do I actually learn to engage that? There's 3 stages of this. The initial stage is to control your spot, to hold your ground, hold the centre line if you like. The second one is to take advantage of that and use it as a launching pad in which to launch forward. And the third one, unfortunately, is to ride distance, which is a high level skill. So let's start with the basics of this and let's show you how it can unfold and how it can develop to something much more substantial and much more productive for defence. So I'm assisted today by Tim. Tim has some boxing experience. He actually knows what he's doing, so he's quite capable of moving. He knows how to throw a jab, cross, and he knows much more about boxing than I do. So he's going to be moving, crossing the distance, and I'm going to just try to relate it back to the earlier part of the DVD where we were looking at distance, angles and control. Now if you remember, the basic idea is to hold your ground and to move in an efficient way, to force the person to walk the circle. The next stage of that development is then when my partner's starting to move, and move quite freely, that's fine, starting to move quite freely, is to follow and to stay in range. Stay in range, stay in range, and look for the opportunity that when he moves to my flank, to turn and drive him and keep the pressure. So let's try and do that again. So when you move to my flank, turn and shut down and chase forward with the leg. So watch, what I'm doing is when he goes to my flank, I'm either engaging the leg, if he's at a distance, or if he's quite close, turning. Now again, I appreciate at this stage we're not putting punches in, but if we keep it down to the simple facts of timing and distance control, what I'm trying to illustrate is that I'm moving in a very efficient, direct manner. There are games, there's always games and tricks, and at a higher level of any type of competitive fighting, being combat sports or what have you, there's going to be a level of games and strategy, drawing your partner out of their guard, opening them up for a counter punch, learning how to slip and ride, learning how to time a takedown if you're doing MMA, learning how to set up an armbar if you're doing jiu-jitsu. Whatever your art, whatever your sport, whatever your approach, there is always going to be an issue of timing. What we're trying to teach you is in Wing Chun is exactly the same. The difference is we have less of a reliance on mobility, less of a reliance on playing that game. However, there will be times, and this is the platform that we start on, where my partner starts to pop punches out, and he pops a punch out. I may not be able to stand there for the sheer speed and timing of it, but what I have to learn to do is to move, okay, recover my distance back to the spot where I was initially. That's something I like to do a lot, it's something I like to promote a lot with my students because I think it's an effective skill. And that's something we're going to show you a little bit further on.